Welcome. Welcome to episode 14 of The Menopause Queen. And in this one, I really wanted to focus on not only this idea of the queen approach and being the menopause queen and how it came about and what it all means, but also the two big things that I think created the most issues for me during the menopause. One of them was memory loss, and the other one was a massive lack of confidence. So I'm going to come back onto that in a second, but I just want to thank you for being here. First of all, more and more people are watching these and listening to these, so thank you so much. A little reminder as well that I do actually have let's call it a hub. It's based on School, SKOOL, and it is a club called The Menopause Queen, and I put lots of resources into that. You can join for free. And you get access to some lives and things like that. You can also have a little monthly membership and it gives you access to lots of yoga, meditation practices, wellness, holistic techniques, face yoga, etc., etc. Back to the subject. So, the menopause queen. Where did this queen approach come from? Quite simply, it came from me not wanting to be a crone. As you know, we divide life into seasons, into chapters. The year is divided into 4 seasons, although I think there are probably about 45 seasons because there are little micro seasons along the way. That's my personal opinion. But I think there are different phases in our lifetime as well. And often it's divided into maiden and mother and crone, like 3 phases. But that doesn't ring true to me, right? Maiden, young woman, discovering life, sponging up everything, learning things, making mistakes. That period, fine, get it. The mother period, let's say it's 25 to 50. The mother period, I get it. You're in the doing phase, you're in the family construction phase, you're building things, you're acting, you're doing, da-da-da-da-da-da. You cannot tell me that from 50 upwards, we're already in the old lady, in the hag, in the crone phase. I'm not buying it. I have at least another 25 years to give in the more independent, the freer, the more joyful, the more confident. That's my phase. So that's not a crone for me. That's not old lady zone. We're talking queen. We're talking, I don't have my children at home anymore. I have more flexibility and freedom. I don't want to be doing the same things I did before. I don't want to be racing around and filling my day with all the different things that I did before. I want space and time. I want to be able to sit with my thoughts. I want to be able to do some yoga when I want to do it. I want to be able to go out in nature. I want to book some holidays. I want to do things that I want to do that vibrate with me, that are authentically part of my journey. This is my next chapter. This is the next chapter of my life, that I can still physically do lots of different things, because we don't know what's going to happen, right? We don't know what's happening in that latter part of life. But right now, I've got a good space of time. I'm in my mid-50s now, where I can still do loads. In fact, I've probably got just as much energy now as I had when I was 35, without all of the mother things that I was doing at the time, the school runs, the extracurricular activities, the wiping bums, the cleaning up sick, the blah, blah, blah. We all know what that's like, whether you've got your own children or you've got your partner's children or your sister or brother's children around. It's the same kind of thing, right? It's a completely different activity level. And you're not in that anymore. And so why not shift things up or differently? Why not change things so that it really resonates with you? And that is where this queen approach came about, because I want my queendom to resemble me. Now that goes from my house, my home where I live, that goes to the activities that I choose to do, that stretches out and extends itself to all different areas of my queendom, of my landscape. But I want to be at the center of that. I love the film and the book Eat, Pray, Love. And I distinctly remember the scene where Julia Roberts walks through the lounge. It's in the middle of the night, it's dark. And she is full of anxiety because she knows that the life that she is living is not the one that she wants to live. She's lost the joy in her life. She's lost the desire for life. She's lost the taste for everything, which is why she heads to Italy first. But she walks through her lounge and she sees everything that she has created. And yet she doesn't see herself in any single object anymore. I think when you get to the menopause, it's a bit of a wake-up call like that. Now, sadly or happily, the menopause is one of those parties that you can't decline the invitation to. You have to go. How you approach that, how you live through that is a very individual and personal journey. Personally, I approached it very naively, I think, and just thought I would ride the wave with no changes. I've done that so far. I've shimmied my way holistically through all of the different aspects of my life up to date. The menopause is not going to strike me as a bad deal. And I wasn't worried about it. I wasn't looking forward to it, but I wasn't not looking forward to it. I was quite neutral about the whole thing. But it kind of crept up on me. And suddenly, I had two big things that went pretty much overnight through my body and through my brain and through my heart and through my energy levels. I suddenly couldn't remember things. I suddenly had this huge brain fog. I'm not talking headaches. I did have a few of those, but I'm talking brain fog, where you literally cannot remember what you were supposed to be doing today, what you did yesterday, what you're doing tomorrow. And it isn't Alzheimer's. It's not the onset of that. It's a fog because you know it. You know the word. You know the thing. You know where you left something, but you bloody well can't remember. You just can't pull it out of the right drawer in a speed that is acceptable to either yourself or to those around you. You come across as fairly ridiculous in certain situations. But the big thing that happened to me is I suddenly thought, well, it's impossible for me to multitask now. And I'm so used to doing it. That's absolutely 1,000% who I am. I can't assume the role. I can't be me. I cannot be the same person going forwards and deliver this idea of performance, right? Deliver what I'm supposed to be delivering. I can't be project manager, taskmaster, mum, partner. I can't be all those things. I simply need to be me. I have to try somehow and just focus on being me. But at the same time, I'd kind of lost who I was. I didn't know who I was supposed to be in the next chapter of my life. I'd lost a huge amount of confidence, and the lack of confidence filtered into huge anxiety, and the anxiety filtered into fear. And it's all in the mind, right? It's all the mind creating, issues out of the fog. You can't remember, and then you'll latch onto something and you can't get rid of it, and that's it, you're there. And your brain is creating these kind of vibrational circles of absolute bollocks, really. And it just creates this level of anxiety in your nervous system. So the two coupled together were just horrible. I didn't have a lot of the physical symptoms. So I didn't have a lot of the, sweats and a little bit of itchy skin, but I didn't really have the hot flushes or some of the very physical, very debilitating conditions and symptoms. But those two, the brain loss and the lack of confidence, huge issues for me. And I remember listening and watching a podcast with Stephen Bartlett, who many of you know. And if you don't, I'll try and find this podcast and I'll tag it in the description below because it was amazing. It's quite long, but it's well worth the journey. He's interviewing a researcher, a doctor, female, who isn't in the menopause yet. She's younger. She's approaching it and she's preparing that approach. Now, that's another way to do it. Of course it is, the healthy foods, the et cetera, you can do all of that, right? But when it hits you, you never know what exactly is going to happen. But the interesting thing that she brought up, which is slightly scary and then slightly amazingly positive. So she did a whole analysis. I mean, this woman has the brain the size of a planet, right? But she did this whole analysis of your brain. And it was traffic light systems. So red, amber, green, and the red are the ones that are going out, right? The amber is the transitional, and the green are the ones that are still there. So she showed images of the brain before menopause. And then as you're journeying into perimenopause, then when you're in the heart of the menopause, and then after the menopause. Now the scary part, the sort of sci-fi trailer movie bit, is that first bit. You go, what? Because your synapses and your neurons and all of the little incredibleness that's in this, massive filing system that is up here, they start to go out. You're losing a lot of your mental capacity that you've had up to present, right? Because it's not just estrogen. The lack of estrogen has an effect on that. But you lose like 98% of your life vitality during the menopause. The good news is, the really, really super, super, super good news is, you get some of it back. No, you get new things back. So what happens is the brain adapts to the new queendom. So it starts to create new capacities to think and adapt and act and feel. I honestly believe that one of the ones that it doesn't recreate is the caring for other people as much. And I quite like that. So I don't think that the We Do Not Care Club by Just Melanie, if you've watched that, it's kind of that. It's kind of those bits of your brain, they stick around afterwards. They go, yeah, whatever, don't care. Those are good bits. But it actually does create new capacities to think and be creative. It's like when your gut adapts to things. So say, for example, you stop eating certain things. Let's say, like lentils and things like that. Because the body needs like a varied diet, right, to really function properly. It might not need anything in excess, but it needs regular consumption of all the colours that are represented in nature, not just grey foods or meat type foods or yellow foods. It needs the variety. It needs that colour palette, basically. But if you stop eating certain things, then the gut sends signals out going, well, hold on, we're unemployed here, we're not doing anything, so we're just going to stop working, we're just going to not exist anymore, we're going to leave you to it. And they stop. And some of them you can't get back. That's the other scary thing, which is why it's important to have the varied diet, right? Some of them you can retrain again. I, for example, have suffered from chronic IBS for many, many years of my life. Much better now. There are still certain food types I cannot eat, but there are food types that I can eat now. And bit by bit, I've brought them back into my diet. And so my gut has gone, hold on a minute. Hold on. We haven't used that for a while. We're just going to get that out of that drawer here, and we're going to start trying it out again. And the really good news about that is I do it slowly. And if I do it slowly, like, for example, lentils, terrible for me in the past. I do like every few days, I'll do a spoonful of lentils, right? And then my body starts to go, hold on a minute. That's really cool. We're going to have some of that. Not only is it good for me, protein-wise, etc., it re-educates the gut to get on board, right? So why am I saying all of that? Because it's the same for the brain. During the menopause, there are these lights out moments. The red lights start to get really prolific in the head. And again, I'm going to try and find this podcast because it really is incredible, the work that she has done and is doing. There are not many research documents, studies on menopausal women. They're just not there. They don't plough the money in. She says this in the podcast. They don't plough the money into female health. It's not important in the medical research domain. She fights to do it. She's desperately trying to do it. Thank God for her. Anyway, so the red lights are going on and on and on. The idea is that as you come out of the menopause and the huge hormonal shift period, the body finds a new plateau, like me reintroducing lentils into my diet, right? It finds a new plateau. And then the funky, hopeful, amazing thing is lights start to go on. And I think, this is Charlotte's analysis of it, I think it's because those little bits and bobs of brain are adapting to the new situation. You've come through all of that transformation. And so you think, okay, right, what do I do now? And the body is adapting itself to the newness, to you also assuming your queen role and saying, this queendom is mine. I am going to create what I need, what I want for the next big chapter of my life. I think the next turning point is probably going to be 60, 65, when you think I've probably got another 20, 30 years in the mix. That's the next big turning point, right? Where you think, okay, right, big changes now. This is the last chapter. This is the last dance. What do I want to do? But when you're in your 40s, 50s, you've got a little bit of time, hopefully. You've got a little bit of time there. So manifest it and use the bits of your brain that haven't been used. Use your intuition. Tune into the massive capacity we as women have to tune in to the subconscious and the intuitive voice. And that's actually what I'm going to leave you with. I heard this story the other day, and it just shows you the power of the mind. And this is where the hope continues. There are two people, and there's a plank of wood on the ground. One person says to the other, and the plank is quite large, right? It's quite a wide kind of plank. So one says to the other, walk across this plank, walk from one end to the other, and it's just placed on the ground. Keep walking on it. Don't fall off. The person goes, that's easy. Walks up and down along the plank, blah, blah, blah. No problem. He then takes the plank and puts it a few meters off the floor and asks him to do the same thing. Then the brain kicks in and goes, well, yeah, but the criteria has changed now. It's up high. Everything has shifted and changed because you're up high. And the brain then kicks in and starts creating all sorts of new messages and emotions and feelings. It's telling you to be scared because you're now not securely on the floor. But it's the same width of plank. And you have had absolutely no issues walking along the plank and back again without falling on the floor. So why would it be any different? Because your brain is telling you to be scared. So this is my point. When your brain kicks in with all those incredibly juicy messages, fear, anxiety, what if, da-da-da, can't remember, oh my God, da-da-da. Just take a moment. Pull it back. Breathe. Listen to what you really intuitively know is right here and now. Don't project. Don't go in the past, but be in the present moment. And just tune into that otherness, because that, my lovely queens, is the juicy, beautiful part of the menopause. Thank you for listening to this. Thank you for watching this. I really hope to see you on the next chapter and journey of the Menopause Queen.